Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I am Sybert, your host, and this is Red Alert 3 with a building misplacement, actually deciding to go reactor before barracks, and on the top side, I guess north kind of eastish side, is going to be Zodman as the cyan Soviets, and as the bluish, well, not blue, but blue empire, not bluish, blue empire on the downside of Fire Island. It is going to be AwesomeA, someone we have not seen on this channel for quite a while indeed. And I believe he's like, what, number 6? His current account is Empire is not OP, or Empire not OP, I believe is what it actually is. He's going to be going, of course, for triple dojo core, actually opting to drop one right inside of his base just to get out that first burst drone super quick, basically as quick as you can get. And what in the world are you doing, Zodman, you crazy fiend? You going War Factory before 2 ref, completely skipping any sort of economy-based build, and he is going to be going refinery and then most likely super reactor before moving his MCV, although this is Red Alert 3. He could be doing anything he wants. And are we going to be seeing, no, not a bullfrog, but a sickle, possibly just for that scouting, and all of these infantry do just turn around and are just like, hey, we are going to be getting out of here. But both of the outposts, and by that I do mean oil derricks, have been grabbed, and this burst drone is going to be slowing that sickle down, preventing it from doing any sort of really useful scouting. Or at least it'll be scouting super slowly, which is, of course, the worst kind of slow to be doing. And, oh no, dropping 2 reactors before packing up the MCV and heading, I don't know where. I guess he's heading, okay, I thought he was going to be heading out to the water, and that would have just been plain silly. Instead, he is going to go fairly aggressive. He hasn't actually been aggressive. He's built quite a few units like he's trying to be aggressive, but so far Zodman not going to be doing a whole lot, and we are going to be seeing Tengus followed up, well, not followed up, but Imperial Warriors and Tengus, so a largely anti-infantry based strike force out of Zodman, pulling his units over to the left side before going to be engaging these sickles. Will he be able to split up the army and do some serious damage? No, the sickles are going to turn around, taking damage to that rear armor, and will the Tengus be able to chase any down and destroy them? Looks like the bullfrog will most likely be safe, and yes, even that sickle escaping, and still nothing, just hiding his MCV over here because, hey, who likes buildings? Certainly not AwesomeA or Empire not OP, because he's clearly proving that Empire is not OP, which I guess the best way to do that would be playing as Empire and then losing a whole bunch of games, which I really hope he's not just going to like, you know, I'm going to sack this game 2 minutes in because, you know, Empire's not OP. And 2 Tengu's going to be teaming up on that single sickle and managing to save that oil derrick and saving the little bit of that income for AwesomeA, but he did lose the other oil derrick, although the money he's got has certainly paid for itself, considering he does get that cash back immediately, which pays for the engineer. Not quite the dojo core, but hey, you know, whatever. He is still going to be fairly decent in the economy, not to mention he can expand relatively easily, although he will need to expand quite quickly to keep on to that. And why are you just throwing these sickles away? Was it really worth it, considering he wasn't able to take that or down that oil derrick? It might have been worth it if he was able to kill the oil derrick, but without killing that oil derrick, probably not worth it in any capacity. He did lose 3 or 4 sickles, and now he's most likely going to be going for those hammer tanks. No, not hammer heads, but hammer tanks. Most likely going to be going, it does look like AwesomeA can only be going for a refinery. Just kidding, as I try and rotate and totally fail. Yes, we are going to be seeing 1 refinery. Will he go for a second, or will he decide to go for a mecha bay? Walls getting thrown down because Imperial Warriors being surprisingly aggressive. Do we have any tanks out? Yes, 2 tanks are now out to do some massive amounts of crushing and switching into that bonsai charge just to escape the wrath of that ore collector. Oh, just kidding, because one of them does get run over before that hammer tank able to nail another one. And just now reacting because, you know, late reactions are always the cool thing to do. I believe that's what the cool kids do, although I wouldn't really be sure. And whoa, this hammer tank, seriously, on a vendetta mission. He is out to get some blood, out to get some kills, and he's just running over people like there's no tomorrow. He's running over people like it's Black Friday. I don't think that was appropriate, but I kind of found it funny. Not anymore. Anyways, we are going to be seeing some minor harvester harassment out of AwesomeA, and even going to be escaping with this Tango. He might even be able to transform this one if he's able to hold out long enough for that cooldown. And actually, that Tango's moving really slowly. And this single hammer tank is going to be running into this oil derrick and shooting it because, you know, it happens. Going to be throwing down a generator, but not actually building it, and actually, surprisingly, going for a docks core. Although, how surprising is it? Surprising enough to throw down a cashback guarantee on that oil derrick and get some money out of it. Not a bad choice for Zodman. A couple of Tengus escaping on the right side after doing that minor bit of harvester harassment, forcing the rebuilding of the walls, if nothing else. And is it even really worth it to rebuild those walls with the Tengus as such an imminent threat? Going to be going for that airfield, most likely some hammerheads and at least 2 MiGs, because with the amount of Tengus that you see out of any Empire player in basically any matchup, MiGs are always going to be a viable option. And once again, what is he going to be going for after that airfield? Is he just going to be going to expand to match those 4 refineries of his opponent? And you also have to keep in mind, AwesomeA also held those 2 oil derricks for quite a while, so he is at the very least on par with the economy of Zodman. Most likely he is quite a ways ahead by at least a couple thousand of resources total, and every moment that goes by he gets further and further ahead. He has created, well, actually, no, because I guess they're kind of even on spending, although not exactly, but, you know, if you think about Mecha Bay, War Factory, Airfield, Naval Yard, it kind of cancels out in terms of spending. But Tengu's going to be switching over here, turning around, or transforming, and going to be doing some damage to that ore refinery. But the Twin Blades are now out. Are there any MiGs? No, but there are turtle bullfrogs, not turtles, to support, and they will be able to do some damage. If those Tengus switch over, they need to just get on out of there. There's no way for them to really win that fight with those bullfrogs so close to that hammerhead, and this refinery will continue building, and it will most likely get completed without as I say that, the Tengus turn around, going for more harassment, and they're just going to be hanging out over here, chilling. And here come the bullfrogs just to chase them away. And the Terror Drone on the left side going to be grabbing. No, he doesn't actually grab that Defender VX core. I feel like that would have been at least slightly. It would have been a bigger deal to grab that Defender VX core just because they die so quickly. He might not have been able to get it over to that Imperial Docks. Imperial Docks most likely being there because you can't build walls on water. So you just build an Imperial Docks right there. You get instant repairs essentially. Bullfrog's going to be dropping those 3 Tengus almost immediately. 1 Tengu does remain, but with that recharge on the Transformer, there's no way he is surviving those Twin Blades attacking, even getting that cashback guarantee, $200. It's like Cyber Monday. Oh man, it's just not good topical humor, but the thing is, Thanksgiving has passed, and so it's like late topical humor, and even later by the time I upload this. Anyways, we're going to be seeing Bullfrogs and Twin Blades swinging around on the right side, most likely going to do some light harassment, because that is not exactly a base-killing strike force. When you have an MCV in the fray, maybe, but with all of these Tier 2 units out of AwesomeA, he should be able to take care of that strike force with very little problems. However, is he really just going to set up there? That would be kind of silly. He would be able to gain a secret expansion, although it might get spotted. Just kidding, that's a Yari mini-sub, and nothing else really. And we are going to be seeing, the Jet Tengu, because the Twin Blades got a little bit far ahead, and one Twin Blade does go down, and then the Jet Tengu does go ahead and escape on out of there. VX support with those Twin Blades will make a pretty even strike force for both of these players. And he's going to see, hey, the MCV has in fact moved. It threw down that expansion and then moved on, but he does not know where it is. So AwesomeA is going to be wanting to find that very quickly, dropping that Badger Bomber toxins on that expansion, on that refinery rather, able to escape the ore collector on out of there and able to save it with very little problems. Looks like a Terror Drone and a Twin Blade going to be chasing away that Yari mini-sub. Might just want to suicide it, because chances are you're not going to be able to do a whole lot. And this expansion, surprisingly well defended, as there is not a whole lot of naval units for our Soviet player, so he can't really do any damage to the Defender VX, since it is in that anti-air mode, and nothing else can really hit it aside from maybe some V4s, but those are still a ways to come. And both of these players just kind of sitting back, macroing up. Obviously, Zodman wants to just kind of push his expansion advantage as long as he possibly can, and trying to hold on to this ore refinery over here. He will be able to clear up that Yari mini-sub, locking it down with the Terror Drone, and then taking it out with that Hammerhead. And now the engagement in the middle. Will it actually happen? We have seen the point defense drones get thrown down, in the single tsunami tank pulling forward. What are you doing? Pull back, get out of there, and just giving a free kill to those hammer tanks. Oh, they're just massacring a couple of those different tanks, and oh no, this is not good. Choke points for the win for zodman, able to completely crush that army from AwesomeA by dividing and conquering, able to split up the army and use those choke points when AwesomeA was apparently not paying attention. He just walked away from his keyboard, got some lunch, and now he's back with a vengeance. But the Bullfrogs now just rolling in, and they're going to be able to clear those skies with little to no problems, even going to be sacrificing his own tsunami tank to kill that Terror Drone, and this could very well be it. No, zodman does in fact turn around. He's just going to kind of pull back, try and cut his losses. Actually, not cut his losses at all. That was a terrible use of that phrase. He's going to pull back and maybe swing around the left side to try and attack where there is less defense, although, to be honest, there's not a whole lot of static defense in either of these players' bases, but it does look like Striker VX is going to be flying around and then maybe attacking from the rear, possibly the worst angle for a Striker VX strike forced to attack on, but one Bullfrog does go down. The other Bullfrogs over on the left side, are they going to be able to do anything? Two Hammer Tanks do go down before transforming and just into the jaws of more Hammer Tanks. Tsunami Tank's able to push back the front line of zodman, and this Chopper VX is going to be drawing a little bit of the fire from these Tsunami Tanks and allowing them to survive a little bit longer and do a little bit more damage. Reverse move, people, really. They do it all the time in Kane's Wrath and CNC3, but then despite the fact that they're being attacked, will not do it in Red Alert 3. I don't know why. Well, at least in this game, a little bit down on power, which is super annoying. Of course, production times double for that, and also you have to spend another, like, what, 800,000 credits on an instant generator just so that you can actually produce stuff at the proper time. And now, Kirov arriving, Kirov and her crew waiting, bombardiers to their stations, and all of that jazz. Most likely going to be calling down, no, not satellites. I was completely wrong, luckily. I didn't actually say it out in time. So, are the Striker VXs going to be enough to take this down? Absolutely not. Even with this Defender VX core right here, he's going to need some Tengus, but he does not have any, and this expansion will most likely get taken out. Even with the Emperor's Rage, I do not think it will be enough to save this ore refinery, but considering how fast that Kirov is going down, he will get little else than that expansion. He will die, probably do some splash damage to that power plant, and maybe even just take out a couple of wall segments. Oh, no, we're going to watch that. Hammer Tanks on the north side, and nothing else coming out of that airfield, and instead, no, oh, not Kirovs, not at all. Dreadnoughts on the other hand, one of them even gaining that heroic status before getting completely eliminated by all of those. Oh goodness, those Striker VXs, never have they seemed quite so terrifying as they take out two Dreadnoughts and almost immediately are going to probably drop this naval yard as well. Even a Bullfrog going down oh so quickly, selling it off for only 400 credits, and now this expansion has been seen by AwesomeA, and he is going to be pissed. He is out for blood, wanting to take down this MCV. MCV might just have to reverse move and try and do some damage because there's little chance of him escaping. Just kidding, because his army is here to meet him. Is he going to try and sack some of these units to make the MCV kill? Yes, he doesn't even... Oh no, the MCV does survive. Not able to completely finish it off. One or two more hits could have been enough to destroy that MCV. Instead, it did get away. And now, as it is nearly destroyed, rebuilding it and repairing might just be a better option. To build, nope, it already has barracks and an engineer on the way, most likely. Can't imagine he would be building anything else. One refinery does go down to match the refinery over here, already being rebuilt by AwesomeA, but zodman is out for blood. He's pissed about his MCV not dying, but that's just as good. And once again, these choke points, no good for AwesomeA. Actually, this one's not even a choke point. It's just his units getting stacked up on each other, and that is horrible for him. His units, none of them were attacking really at the same time, and now all of his infantry nearly getting taken out, using that X or Control X to split all of his units, but it was not enough for zodman. Has microed around a little bit in mass and just run over basically every one of those units, eliminating nearly all of that army for AwesomeA. AwesomeA just having a couple of units. I think he might be a little bit out of practice. However, we are going to be seeing now a satellite drop right on top of those power plants because, hey, it worked last time, and now there's even less anti-air for this Kirov. This Kirov may be the game-winning move for, well, I guess not the single game-winning move, but one of the game-winning moves for zodman. I cannot see AwesomeA possibly escaping this after he has taken so much damage, and that fifth refinery for zodman definitely helping out quite a bit. And now production times just doubled as one of those power plants went down, and the second power plant is almost guaranteed to go down even if the bombs didn't kill it. The husk of that Kirov most likely would have, and with Apocalypse tanks here, and the MCV nearly getting taken out, even switching over to that tractor beam death thing because, you know, hey, MCV, despite the fact that it's bigger than an Apocalypse Tank's still able to totally crush it, and that is going to be it. Empire Not OP, aka AwesomeA, has been defeated in a pretty awesome, there's the 4 megs just now showing up at the end there in a pretty awesome game. Zodman being victorious, and let's go ahead and take a look at that resources tab. As you can see, Zodman behind for part of the game, and then that 5th expansion actually kicked in and started being effective, and he just tore ahead in that with that 5th expansion. Because, you know, you get oil derricks, that keeps you ahead, and then you expand twice when your enemy only expands once. AwesomeA able to stay ahead, and then over here-ish somewhere, he did lose that battle, and just all of his units just died because of that engagement. I think that was the engagement in the middle, and then this engagement over, basically in his base. For those of you who can remember, but unit kill to death ratio, of course, Zodman taking it on that one, so GG hit to him. AwesomeA, not a bad job, but could have been a little bit better. 14 minutes. What was actually the resource discrepancy? Actually favoring by 11,000 resources Zodman in the end. Would have been a lot bigger of a gap if AwesomeA hadn't done so well in the early games. This is going to be it for this replay. I don't know what I was going to say there, but I was able to swerve it into replay. I am terrible at sentences right now. This is going to do it for me. This is Sybert signing out.